Hey everybody, Mr. Orm back again this morning, and I thought today, with it being a Monday, we'd have a little look at our book, Kensuke's Kingdom. Now, we've already read a little part of this, and we've seen that Michael and his family live quite a contented life. However, his parents have just lost their jobs, and Michael's dad has decided that they should all kind of chase their dream of sailing around the world, because they love to sail at weekends, but they normally just go out on the lake. So Dad's been, and he's bought a boat named the Peggy Sue, and he's kind of suggested the idea to the family that they set off around the world, and they've all decided, yes, this is something we really want to do. So we're going to have a little look at this, and I'm going to set you a little thinking challenge based on the bits that we've read. So I'm just going to read a tiny bit more, and then we're going to carry on. So if you remember, they've just started training with Barnacle Bill about how to look after a boat at sea. So I'll read a couple of pages, and then I've got a little thinking challenge for you. So, my father and I shared our terror silently. You can't pretend. I learned with a towering green wall of sea 20 feet high bearing down on you. We went down in troughs so deep we never thought we could possibly climb out again, but we did. And the more we rode our terror, rode the waves, the more we felt sure of ourselves and of the boat around us. My mother, though, never showed even the faintest tremor of fear. It was her and the Peggy Sue between them that saw us through our worst moments. She was seasick from time to time, and we never were, so that was something. We lived close, all of us, cheek by jowl, and I soon discovered parents were more than just parents. My father became my friend, my shipmate. We came to rely on each other. And as for my mother, the truth is, and I admit it, that I didn't know she had it in her. I'd always known she was gritty, that she'd always keep on at a thing until she'd done it. But she worked night and day over her books and charts until she'd mastered everything. She never stopped. True, she could be a bit of a tyrant if we didn't keep the boat shipshape, but neither my father nor I minded that much, though we pretended to. She was the skipper. She was going to take us round the world and back again. We had absolute confidence in her. We were proud of her. She was just brilliant, and I have to say, the ship's boy and the first mate were pretty brilliant too on the winches, at the helm, and dab hands with the baked beans in the galley. We were a great team. So on September the 10th, 1987, I know the date because I have the ship's log in front of me as I write. With every nook and cranny loaded with stores and provisions, we were at last ready to set sail on our grand adventure, our great odyssey. Gran was there to wave us off tearfully. In the end, she even wanted to come with us to visit Australia. She'd always wanted to see koalas in the wild. There were lots of our friends there too, including Barnacle Bill. Eddie Dodds came along with his father. He threw me a football as we cast off. "Lucky mascot!" he shouted. When I looked down at it later, I saw he'd signed his name all over it like a World Cup star. Stella Artois barked her farewells at them, and at every boat we passed in the Solent. But as we were sailing out past the Isle of Wight, she fell strangely quiet. Maybe she sensed, as we did, there was no turning back now. This was not a dream. We were off round the world. It was really, really real. So I'm going to stop there as they've just begun their journey. It's a great image of the boat there. You can see it's not a big boat. So I'm going to stop there. Now, your challenge for today is to have a think about some of these questions, because we're going to use these questions to do a little task. So, I want you to think about, from what we know about this book, and I want you to use your imagination, because at this point we don't know what's going to happen. So I want you to use your imagination a little bit. And I want you to think about this. How does Kensuke enter the story? So how might he become involved in what's going on in this story? And what becomes of Michael and his family? What do you think might happen as this story evolves, as we read on? What do you think might become of them? Now, as a way of keeping a track of our thoughts and ideas, what I thought might be a great idea is to create just a short little storyboard. So I'm just going to move that up. And here's one that I've kind of started. I haven't finished because I didn't want to give anything away. So I've just started. So there are 6 boxes on my piece of paper here. So you can do on any piece of paper you've got in a notebook, anywhere you like. And all I've done is I've started with a little picture. It's not very good. Michael's family by the Peggy Sue and set sail. So I've kind of retold that first chapter we've read, beg your pardon, really, really quickly. But then I started to use my imagination. So for the next 5, and it goes around in a pattern like that. So as the story continues, we follow like that. What do I think is going to happen next? So my next thought was, well, they're going to have to set off somewhere. So I've drawn a little picture. So this is kind of North America into South America. There's Europe and a bit of Africa. And there's Great Britain. They head across the Atlantic Ocean towards South America. So I think that perhaps that's where they're going to set off, and then I would start to think about, well, what's going to become of them? How does this Kensuke's kingdom, how does Kensuke and this kingdom, whatever it may be, how does it become involved in the story? So your job for today is to think about what we know about this book, about Michael and his family, and use your imagination. What do you think is going to happen? There are no right or wrong answers because we don't know yet. We haven't read it. So this is a really great task to use your imagination and piece together what you think might happen or what you want to happen. Perhaps you've got an idea in your head, oh, I'd love this to happen, I'd love them to do this. That can be part of your story. So your job, think about those questions. How does Kensuke enter the story? How does he become involved? And what will become of Michael and his family, do we think? And then create yourself a little storyboard. Doesn't even have to be 6 boxes. If you maybe only do 4 boxes, that's fine, but I want you to really use your imagination, okay? So there's today's little reading task for you, to have a little think and come up with what you think might be the next parts of the stories. And I'll be back again soon with more for us. Okay, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.